Nearly 30 years after I Know What You Did Last Summer hit theaters and became a cult classic, a new film in the franchise has spawned to reignite the flames of nostalgia. Is this film a worthy successor to the first, or are some things just better left in the 90s?
We are not gonna die today.
The original I Know What You Did Last Summer is a classic slasher, arguably the most successful late 90s teen slasher clone that spiraled out of the way more successful massive hit that was Scream. It assembled a who's who of 90s teen icons, which included Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ryan Phillippe, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Freddie Prinze Jr. After the first movie was a massive hit, you'd imagine that they would take this formula and crank out some decent sequels to cash in, right? That wasn't exactly the case, as I Still Know What You Did Last Summer went completely off the rails, and any attempt to revive the franchise in film or TV form after that was a critical and financial failure, if it even came to fruition. Which brings us to 2025. In the wake of countless legacy sequels, I Know What You Did Last Summer is back to take one last hook swing at glory, assembling a stacked cast which combines new young stars on the rise with nostalgic legacy icons at a time where it feels like every horror masterpiece and slasher flick has had a requel. What exactly is left for I Know What You Did Last Summer to say without coming across as forced IP cash grab? Well, I am happy to report that not only does it have something to say, but it says it loud and proud with authority. The story of I Know What You Did Last Summer looks pretty simple, and stop me if you heard this one before. 5 friends inadvertently cause a deadly car accident. They then cover up their involvement and make a pact to keep it a secret rather than face the consequences. A year later, their past comes back to haunt them, and they're forced to confront a horrifying truth. Someone knows what they did last summer and is hell-bent on revenge. One by one, the friends are stalked by a killer when they discover that this has happened before, and they turn to 2 survivors of the legendary Southport massacre of 1997 for help. See? On paper, that looks like your run-of-the-mill legacy sequel, using the same story beats as the original but modernized, then sprinkling in some legacy characters to get a pop of nostalgia from us millennials in the process. And don't get me wrong, while I did absolutely pop for Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., the greatest strength of this film is knowing exactly what it is and using that knowledge to its advantage. I Know What You Did Last Summer is not only a much-needed facelift to a forgotten franchise, but also very might well be the best horror legacy sequel of the bunch. It somehow steps out from behind the shadow of Scream and presents us with a unique commentary, poking fun at legacy sequels and at the franchise itself in a way that is a blast to watch. What's so fun about this movie is that it truly is a celebration of I Know What You Did Last Summer. It almost talks to its audience in the way that it shows reverence to the past while also acknowledging the insanity of it all. The movie takes us by the hand and says, hey, I love this stuff. You love this stuff. Let's all have a good time and love it together, while also presenting a bold form of storytelling that really took me by surprise. I went into this expecting more of the same, but I was delighted by the end result. The brilliance of I Know What You Did Last Summer is that it's in on the joke and knows what the audience knows. This allows it to lull us into a structure that we think we recognize before the movie moves the pieces in new and exciting ways. I credit a lot of this to Jennifer Caton Robinson, who co-wrote the film with Sam Lansky while directing the film. It's evident that Jennifer had a strong vision for this film and was able to execute it fantastically. The writing is sharp and punchy, which makes for a lot of great exchanges between characters. The horror set pieces are dynamic, intense, and it's everything you could want in a slasher. The cast doesn't disappoint, and they all give amazing performances to help Jennifer's vision. And while they're all equally fantastic, I have to say the biggest standout of the bunch is Madeline Klein, who plays both into and against type. Her comedic timing is immaculate, allowing her to deliver some absurdly hilarious dialogue that had the entire theater rolling. I was genuinely shocked by just how funny she was. Now, saying that, I do want to give the entire cast their flowers because I think they all did a really great job with the task that they were given and were worthy successors to the teen slasher ensemble. The biggest draws of the film are obviously the returning Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., who reprised their roles as Julie James and Ray Bronson, respectively. Their appearance is what is really selling this film to the audience, and I have to admit, it was magical seeing JLH and Freddie on the big screen together again. Beyond nostalgia, these two are actually really great in the film. I was so happy to see Jen and Freddie get to really explore these characters beyond the surface level and add layers to these two souls. They really got to stretch their legs and be three-dimensional characters. Freddie brings a paternal sternness to Ray, while J-Love gets to really play and shows us a Julie that doesn't have time for nonsense or letters. Their inclusion felt natural and it seamlessly flowed with the current of the story. Actually, one of my only real issues with the movie was the clunky opening, which felt like there was a lot of exposition vomit being thrown our way, which led to some awkwardness in its execution. Beyond that, I think the film is very well paced, and once the plot starts plotting, I was locked in and along for the ride. Because the true brilliance of this film lies in its execution. It respects and adores the original, poking fun but never punching down to it. It understands what the film means and lovingly embraces its absurdity. In doing so, it gives a well-crafted murder mystery with tons of callbacks and references that are sure to make fans happy. I Know What You Did Last Summer toes the line between well-executed slasher and self-aware legacy sequel that I'm sure will please fans of the franchise and slasher lovers all the same. I had so much fun with this movie, and it offers great counter-programming to the blockbuster-heavy July release schedule. I cannot stress enough how much I applaud the unique tone of this film, and I absolutely recommend you check it out when it hits theaters.